You
It's
know what would be
Khalid
really good? Oh, go. Sorry. Oh no, I forgot that you
thing.
sing. Oh, go on.
You
Sorry. Go
destroyed
on.
everything.
Again. From
I'm going away.
what did they say?
Hang
From
on.
the top. From the top. Go on again. 1, 2, 3, go.
It's Khaled's streaming time. Here
Wow.
to explore the intellectual divine. And we of different thought will muse upon the world for you. Boom, boom. Yay! Khaled time.
Oh, what's happening now?
That's the heading out,
Chaos.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. By the way, Martin, is there any way we could see the bottom half of your face? Just but is there any way we could center? I don't want your whole thing to collapse. I know it's a very delicate setup. Oh, that's pretty good.
You know, like when you have that board on the keyboard where you put your music, your sheet music.
Yes, that's where it is. Ah, and that's got a fixed position, isn't it? It's quite hard to change it. Well, is there a tablet on top of that where the music board goes?
Yeah.
While he's doing that, let's
intro
the topic.
Yeah. So, question is, well, the title is "Only Experts Have the Right to Talk?" Question mark. So the sort of discussion is like, should we be thrown out, or should we lose our freedom of speech because we're not expert enough, we're not qualified enough? Is that a good way to debate? Is that a good way to find the truth and stuff like that? That's the question. The wider introduction, I suppose, to our series is that we try to make the world a better place. These are debates about things that are happening in the world, and we talk from different perspectives. I'm a Muslim, you have an atheist in Martin, and Dust is something he will tell us at some point. And so we've got completely different perspectives, and we try to learn from each other, hopefully, or everybody else can learn from us in different ways by sifting between what they think is correct in our arguments. So anyway, you get what I'm talking about. So that's what this is all about, not playing intellectual debates, but for a purpose, to make the world a better place. And I'm Khaled Safir. You can see my YouTube channel name is there, and you can see my name there. And I'm a Muslim, and I talk from a Muslim point of view. So I quote the Quran and Prophet Muhammad and all that kind of stuff. So to back up what I've got to say. Yep. So clockwise, Martin, say something about yourself.
My name's David. Nah, only kidding. Yeah, so I'm all about people's rights and the ability to try and live a happy life and try and make sure other people get to have a happy life and that our rights are protected, i.e. happy life, and that we recognise when there's terrible things happening in the world and we don't stay quiet about it. We make noise about those things happening because they affect other people. There you go. Peace.
I love that. Very good. Cool. Dust.
Well, my name is The Dust, and I come with a 2-year guarantee not to rust. That's only European-wide, though. I'm here to communicate about the ideas and beauty of humanity through a constitution, through democracy, and how to identify those that hate, and how to identify how to counter that hate, so that they can still go around hating people, but in a legal structure where if they do decide to take it any further than just verbally abusing, then obviously sanctions should be opposed, like when they commit a crime like murder or something. And under human rights, that would be very easily definable. And multiculturalism is the very bedrock of anti-genocide. There you go. The dust.
Cool. Yeah. Stopping hate. I love that. Okay. Cool. So, who would like to start this off? I'm not even sure who's. So it was kind of like Martin's girlfriend Summer's idea. So maybe Martin should start. What do you think, Dust? Any thoughts?
I'm happy to start if Martin doesn't want to.
I can go second. I don't mind you.
Cool. Oh, but
I
it
know
would
we
be
should keep it
clockwise.
clockwise.
Oh,
We
we've
should
got to
always
keep
keep it
to the
clockwise.
rules. The clockwise rule.
God.
Martin is like, what is he talking about? Like, yeah.
Good.
Okay, let's go, Dust. Go for it. So yeah.
So this was one of our So it was a suggestion that how maybe we shouldn't be talking about certain subjects because we're not qualified, and of course, what is the definition of qualification? That is what hopefully we'll be answering here. Also, who owns the apps? Who owns the structure which quantifies who is now able to speak as a qualified human being? So we'll explore this as well as part of our discussion. And the way the question was initially conceived was one, I think maybe it's a malaise, possibly. And a malaise which is, well, I am not that person who went to that institution or I'm not that person who went to that particular religious faith, or I'm not that person who's being classified as okay to speak now on this subject. And there is great danger within this. Oh, shizer. Sorry, I haven't turned on my stopwatch. I think that was about 60 seconds. Hang, we should know about 60. Anyway, there's great danger. There's great danger in denying people a platform to speak. This is a platform, and denying people that opportunity, being a university setting, being in parliament, being a member of your community, breeds great contempt, and also the diversity of debate is strangled at this point. But there is one obvious, very concern which was brought up initially with this question, is that, well, not everyone makes any sense. And because you think you make sense doesn't entitle you to be the owner of the custodian of tomorrow. But this, again, for example, we have people that go that climate change isn't real. And they really, you could say, don't deserve any platform whatsoever. I mean, it is bonkers that you can just have a random thought and articulate it and then let that become the political dominance of a society. But the real difference between just having a thought that disagrees with society or not the status quo or the qualified person who is speaking is that the people that say, oh, climate change isn't real, are all paid for majority-wise through oil companies. So that does automatically render their platform mute, because they must declare their, if you are going to speak, sorry, not mute, but if you are going to speak in favour of something, if you don't call your biases out and it is proven that you do have a bias like that, then it should be muted, because you're not being sincere at that point. Sincerity means talking about why we had this idea to begin with. We're being paid, we're being bribed, we're being lobbying. So lobbying is also part of that. And so people that say there is climate change, these people are sincere. Why? Because they sit down in front of computers and with great brains doing great things, computating all the known variables and spending years and decades, not just waking up one morning with a little bit more money in their bank account and then have an opinion all of a sudden on it. So there's caveats to everything about denying a platform. And I think that hopefully sort of is a good indicator of where the line should be drawn and punishment should be ensued. Otherwise, we'll just end up being prisoners to capitalism, or the richest people in the room, who will just simply pay their opinion into reality there, but have no absolute reality to it, and being led by disingenuous bad actors, bad faith, and all these horrors. So where is just the average person who's studying, who doesn't go to university, who has thoughts? They should be honoured, and honoured with a platform, and not ridiculed, or no matter how ridiculous the idea, assuming those caveats have not been manifested into their reality. So we must have a platform for everyone, and we were going to talk about psychopaths, and that's what initially, because Khaled comes into that
Identifies as
category. Yeah. We were, but I think one of our contributors was very wary, because none of us are qualified psychologists. But the way that the BSDM is that the right one? The psychology book. I mean, that was written in the 70s by people with barely any concern to science, any because it was basically a whimsical collaboration of thoughts, and it's matured and evolved since its initial outcome. But that root source is still there and manifests and perverts a lot of diagnosis, which is that happens. Like originally, they thought gay people were weird and a disformed mental reality, where obviously that is a very Abrahamic way of thinking about things. So yeah, I hope that gives a little picture. I've had my 5 minutes, and Khaled, I think it's your go.
Oh, okay. I'll just do my usual share screen. Anybody can share the screen if they want to, by the way. So I always like to put a document. Maybe I'll change my ways at some point, but anyway, here we go. So only experts have the right to talk is the question. And first of all, I'd like to say, what's the point of this discussion? How does it lead to happiness and making the world a better place? And learning the truth provides. So the answer is learning the truth provides a map of how the world works. The truth is understanding reality. That's what we really want. That's the point of having these discussions. Knowing how to do that is the key to happiness. So that's why this discussion is important. We want to get to truth, to clear realities of how the world really works. And so that's the point, the basis of it. And I'll read a few verses of the Holy Quran that could inspire me. So, and it is by the great mercy of Allah that you are kind towards them. So he's talking about leadership. Okay, and if you had been rough and hard-hearted, they would have surely dispersed from around you. So pardon them and ask for forgiveness, and consult them in matters of administration. And when you are determined, when you have decided, and then put your trust in God, and surely Allah or God loves those who put their trust in Him. So good leadership is kind, research, that's the consultation part of it I mentioned, and strong, relied on a few or one person. So once you've decided on a leader, don't make him or her waver in different directions, because that's control, populist control. That's not based on this consultation that the leadership has done, right? So yeah, be kind. If you're kind, you're there to be more understanding, rather than just being a brute leader for your own ego is the idea. Then there's another one that inspires me, and if you obey the majority of those on earth, you'll be led away from the way of God. They follow, these people who follow the majority, they follow nothing but conjecture. They don't really have clear proofs of what they're talking about. That's normal in most societies, and they support their ideas by lies when they found that they're wrong. So this might seem like an argument for following experts, but experts are based on a consensus of past thought. So an expert is really just somebody who's saying what has been agreed on in the past, not necessarily based on current ideas. For example, or a good example of that is people used to smoke because doctors prescribed cigarettes. This hasn't changed much as doctors are now drug dealers for Big Pharma. So you have to be wary of experts, like Dust was saying, who controls the experts in a way you were saying that. And then another one, I think this kind of gives me sort of most solace, I suppose. Nay, we hurl the truth at falsehood and it breaks its head, and lo, it perishes. Basically, it's saying the quality of the truth, it easily destroys falsehood. It's like when psychologists will tell you it's very hard to maintain a lie because once you tell one lie, you have to tell other lies to back it up. You have to remember that. With the truth is obvious. You don't have to remember anything. It's just reality. So falsehood is easily broken by the truth. So maybe if you have discussions from different backgrounds, and if somebody who's not even qualified necessarily, according to the current systems, as Dust puts it, who control these systems, you have to be wary of. So if there's somebody outside the system who's not so-called qualified, but he might be qualified by a different standard, he might have certain truths, and when he speaks them or she speaks them, it will be so clear compared to the falsehood that it will destroy it. And I have faith in that. So that's what I've got to say. Am I well within my 5 minutes?
Yeah, you certainly are.
Cool. That's cool.
You entitled to an extra bonus for that.
Oh.
I'll send you the bouquet of flowers for that reward.
Oh wow, all the way to Jordan. That's going to be expensive, but good luck. Thank you. I'm a Londoner who lives in Jordan, if that wasn't part of my introduction. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, I'll stop sharing now because it's Martin's turn. Go for it.
Okay, so the question being, do only experts have the right to talk? Well, Speaker's Corner would be shut down pretty quickly if that was the case. But I mean, there are obviously very important things affecting a lot. I made a little list. Things like feminism, climate change, religion, science. I think you can find between and lived experience. So when it comes to talking about maybe feminism, I can have an opinion from what I can observe and what I can understand and the way I can see the world. But I also, to learn more, I listen to the lived experience of a woman in this world to understand what she experiences. And just because an expert, and then you can take what an expert may say, you find a balance between that kind of thing. There's a danger that someone's opinion can override the actual facts, and we see that in politics a lot. Trump, Brexit, Bojo, all that. What people wanted to hear, what became an opinion that got way out of control, and it became the expert that wasn't. It was deemed better to ignore the experts. Who wants to listen to an expert? Well, of course, the experts because they were right. Remember, Trump also was giving out advice of to not take a vaccine during the pandemic, and he was coming up with ridiculous things. The experts were the ones to listen to, even though Trump may have seemed authoritarian and have all this money, and decides the experts were the ones to listen to, even though opinion may have been far more popular to go with Trump and don't take vaccines, it's all a big conspiracy, blah, 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 don't wear a mask, all that. The facts.
But my comment would be there are lots of experts who are against most of the data was against a lot, especially children taking vaccination. That would be my quick comment.
Well,
And my quick
Right,
comment
so
as well.
taking a vaccine helps to stop the spread of a virus, and wearing a mask helps to stop the spread of a virus. And
Also, it's very important to know that Trump took the vaccine, even though he's telling people not to tell the vaccine to take the vaccine. So he believed in the vaccine.
So yeah, to carry on. So there would be a very unqualified such becoming, expert. We see that social media. You could start a YouTube channel and make something very popular, an opinion, where the facts are overshadowed. It happens with religion. We see it. There were flat earthers down at Speaker's Corner on Sunday. That's where that became. There's a huge amount of followers for that, but the experts, to them, they ignore all that because they want to go with what they want to believe is happening. And we see that with with religion, it doesn't accommodate the reality or the real science. It uses it when it does. So it's always good to listen to other people. And again, it can live the experience, share our experiences with each other. I can't live a day in dust shoes or anyone listening. I don't know what it is, but the only way I can understand that and sort of try to see their world is by communicating and sharing stories and what we have. I think the experts are there to deal with the facts, and we kind of interpret them. We find a balance between facts and lived experience, and you find the truth in that. How am I on time? How am I doing on time?
You're doing fine, but Martin, I think you may have to refresh your website because we're missing some of your words.
It is cutting off or something, isn't it?
Oh, if you refresh your website,
I'm not sure if that will help. If his connections, I don't know. Maybe you're right.
We'll just have to take a pause because you're going to have to refresh and see if that helps.
I'm happy pausing there. If you want to go to the next person, I'll hit refresh, and then if I lose,
cool. That's a good idea. Let's see if that works. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I'll just bring up some of the points he's just brought up. So, yeah, we wouldn't have Speaker's Corner if we didn't have. If it was only the experts that could speak, which is why most people in the world don't experience Speaker's Corner, is because the dictatorship defines who will be speaking or not speaking. And that's why even in the, I think we have, he's changed his position as well. Right.
Oh, no. What are we going to do? Clockwise system. Oh, no. Okay.
Martin, can you speak?
Let's see. I might be able to...
Martin.
Wait a second.
Can you just give us?
Oh no! I know you're changing it. I changed it, and then you changed it. Do you change it? Okay.
No, Khaled, let Martin speak.
Hello. Can you hear me? Okay. All good.
Okay, go on.
Yeah, that works. Yeah. Okay, can you carry on, please?
Me or?
Yeah, you.
Okay, so I'll
come on, yeah.
What I sort of said. Hopefully, apologies if you heard it already, but. It's very important to find a balance between other people's lived experience, i.e., from like how they experience war, how their human rights being affected, and kind of an expert senses what's happening, and try and find a balance between the two. You apply some reason to it, some logical thing. You wouldn't just believe anyone that says they're an expert on this and that's that. You try to find a balance, but there'd be a very real danger and threat to your rights if someone got to dictate whose opinion matters. You could say that person's opinion doesn't matter, and I'm the expert. And me, there's obviously a very real danger in that. We saw that happen here many times. That's point to stop. 2 seconds over. Cool. Okay.
No, yeah, it's not an indication to stop. It's just so you're aware that you sort of need to wrap up. But don't stop.
What I wanted to say. Hopefully, if anyone didn't hear me or it cut out, then by all means put a comment and I can always go over it again.
I mostly understood what you were saying. I was making lots of notes on it, so I don't think it was too bad. But was it really bad on your side, Dust, or what?
It just wasn't the beautiful perfection which I'm accustomed to upon our internet.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think Martin has just said some very potent and powerful words there. I think Trump is what I was referring to earlier on in my first 5 minutes, saying these bad actors will get paid to say certain words like oil is good for the planet. There's no thing of global warming. COVID is not real. I mean, that's a great one. I mean, that's just amazing. A man who took the vaccine while still telling people not to take it, just to help radicalize his own force and watch the deaths of his own supporter en masse. I mean, it's absolute madness that he was allowed to continue with that rhetoric, and there was no infrastructure to silence that. It was absolutely gross, and masks was absolutely vital.
Are you saying that he should have been silenced? I'm just want to clarify.
Because under my definition, absolutely, which was definition is getting paid, and he was a bad actor. He was literally he had taken the vaccine himself. That is a liar then, and liars should be prosecuted accordingly. If you believe from the very beginning not to take, if he genuinely believed it, that's not true. Then
do you know? Do you know if he was forced by the state, according to which state he lived in, to take the vaccine? I don't know the exact, because different states have different rules, I think.
That's irrelevant, because Trump was telling people not to take the vaccine, resulting in the deaths of hundreds of thousands of millions of people in the USA, while sitting back with the most expensive doctors on the planet, taking the vaccine and many other remedies of great expense, where the COVID singularly attacked the poor en masse because they couldn't afford to separate themselves from other people. They couldn't afford the most expensive doctors. Yeah, he should have been gone to jail for that lie, which caused the death of so many people. But if he hadn't taken the vaccine and they didn't have all those expensive doctors, then we can see his sincerity is true, and his freedom of speech in that sense from that political position. He's just not a normal person, remember. He is a politician. And so different rules.
Oh, what?
Different rules apply to different
He's come back. Okay.
He's not just an average member of the public. When you are a politician or with somebody with a lot of followers, you have different rules that apply to you. Which
are you okay? Are you okay? Oh, okay. Martin was trying to say something. I think he's go on. I think he'll be back in a sec.
Yeah, well,
you disappeared for a second. Yeah, that's weird.
We seem to have a bad internet day today.
I'm back.
Cool. Yeah. I've got a feeling something to do with StreamYard, but anyway.
There's no such thing as free speech, and when you're a liar, that isn't free speech. That's just a liar. I think I can't read his name. Is it Ulrich? Ulrich Wolf.
Oh, yeah, Ulrich. That's the person who emailed you with a nice message.
All right, Wolf. Nice to see you. I'm going to call you Wolf because my brain's not clever enough to be able to get it round such beautiful name as you've got, unfortunately. So Wolf.
It's not his real name. It's a fun kind of. Anyway, go on.
So Wolf, Wolf is unaware of responsibility and unaware of responsibility of leaders. It's very different from an average person. When you're lying, that's not free speech. That's just a liar. And when you're a politician, liars should go to jail. When you're profiting or seeing people en masse die en masse, this is where opinion and the right to have your voice heard absolutely does end. There's no such thing as freedom of speech. Never has existed, and it never will exist. But what does exist is being conscientious, being understanding, and knowing that, yeah, you might have different views to the status quo, but diplomacy, or not diplomacy, sorry, politeness and not lying is an absolute valid requirement to free speech, no matter if you are qualified or not. Trump openly lied and resulted in the death of hundreds of thousands of people, if not millions, in the USA. And Wolf is unaware of all these facts. And, you know, I hope he takes some time to look into Trump's hypocrisy. And you'll always find people who are hypocrisy like that, but you've got to define whether they're lying or not. Okay, 5 minutes is up.
Cool.
I believe it's will go. Mr. Khalid, the floor is open to you.
Oh, okay. Advice. Okay, I'm going to put me after you. 1 second. There we go. Do you see that? Does it swap round?
It's a merry-go-round.
Yeah. No, I just swapped my round, so I'm clockwise to you now. Anyway, cool. Okay, loads of interesting points made. I'm going to start with what Martin said. Can a man talk? Essentially, I think the whole conversation with Summer as well started with, can a man talk about women's rights? Okay, so, and you made the point, Martin, you should listen to women as well. Okay, and I like the phrase lived experience, is cool. Okay, and that feeds into the idea I had in the beginning that I was trying to express, which is there should be an element of kindness. What is kindness? Listening to people, being compassionate. What is an enemy of the truth is when you're really angry and you just want to push your ideas through. You're not kind. You're not really listening. And it's really important to try to listen. So listening, and there's another level which is consulting different people. Now, there's a danger in consulting and making that if it means that if that consultation is enforced, that you have to follow, let's say, the majority, because that can be dangerous as well. So then you need, for good ideas to work, you need clear leadership. They shouldn't just be swayed by the masses. So, yeah. So anyway, the point you made about lived experience, I think it fits under the kindness element that I was talking about. Then you said there are people who completely ignore the experts, like the flat earthers. Cool, I agree. There's so much evidence against it, really basic evidence, such as look at the shadow of the Earth on the Moon is always round, and that's a good sign that only a spherical object can always create a round, a round shadow. A circular object won't, because you have to have the light coming from the sun in a perfectly parallel, whatever form. Basically, there's too much easy evidence to go against the argument of flat earthers. Then he said religious is against science, and we've talked about this so many times that religion is exactly with science, but atheists keep ignoring that for whatever reason. It makes it easier for atheists to stay atheists. I've talked about the maths and the science behind God's existence has to be. We've not got any experience of anything else. We've never had any experience of blind creation, let's say. Science came to Europe through Islam, by the way. So even the definition of the scientific method came to Europe through Islam. Even, we talked about this earlier, Greek knowledge brought to Europe through Muslims, because all of their materials decaying or getting lost. I can't remember what it was.
But we did confirm last week that it was the Greeks that came out with poetry, and somehow you forgot that.
No, we didn't confirm that. You were going to research that.
Somehow hang on, I haven't finished. Somehow you erased the fact that the Greek culture existed long before.
Not poetry, rhyme I was talking about, by the way.
Rhyme poetry, which is the same thing, of course. And you seem to erase that Greek history, which was quite convenient for you.
Anyway, so then Dust talked about bad actors. Okay, people pay to say oil is good, COVID is not real, and he said there was death en masse. There's always death en masse. It's called, being a human being. People die, and the average age for a person to die of COVID in the UK was like 81 or 82, I can't remember, which is older than the life expectancy. The kids were forced to take vaccinations, even though it was known kids never get affected by COVID. Trump should have been silenced. That's an interesting argument from Dust. I think this is a dangerous, slippery slope against censorship, silencing people we don't like. He said, no such thing as free speech. The responsibility to leaders, they cannot lie. But who defines what is a lie? I think, I know, for example, my computer science, Dr. Norman Fenton, an expert in statistics, my computer science professor at university many years ago, but I recognized him. He was totally against COVID. He said there's no evidence for COVID. In fact, he showed there was a spike in deaths when people took the vaccinations. So, and he's just a computer science guy who crunches data, and he was a really well-known statistician, right? And then all his papers were banned the moment he started speaking out against COVID. It was very interesting. Many, many years of his expertise. So I don't think we should just randomly ignore experts that we don't like. So anyway, so thank you. That's it. Did I speak 1 minute over? Oh, I thought I was short. Oh, okay.
1 minute over.
Oh, okay.
Martin, would you like to respond or add more to your own essay?
I'll just sort of respond and add a bit more, just in case I cut out the first time round or whatever. So I think Canada, we found that we found a little middle ground there in when you were talking about kindness, because obviously that's a big part of what you're doing these sort of videos for, or happiness and kindness, and then that's a big part of what you do your thing. I think it's be kind to talk to people that are living an experience where they feel they're right to being attacked, or try and understand what they go through in a day-to-day life. I think that's an expert.
Oh man, your connection is so bad now. What do you think, Dust? Yeah, this is Martin's connection.
Yeah, have you got a Wi-Fi? Are you downloading any big files on your computer?
No, I'm not.
Oh. Now it's clearer. It's when you're not talking. Just joking. It feels smooth now. Go on.
Okay, hopefully it stays okay.
Yeah.
Part of that is listening to other people's sort of lived experience. So when an expert on TV may say X and Y about protesters or something, I can talk to real people that are out there protesting. I've been part of protests, and I can see what's really happening in the streets. And when Trump was coming to the UK to visit, his papers were like, the message he wanted to give, can't wait to come and all that. The actual experience of being here in the country was he hated him so much. And I was out there with, I can't imagine people there. There must have been thousands of people walking through London, glare that we did not want.
So I didn't understand how that lived experience gives you an insight that Trump is incorrect just because people hate him. That's not that's not factual information. I'm confused about that.
Sorry, say that again. Sorry.
So you're saying I believe generally you're right that you can learn from people on the ground rather than just going through third-party media like the news, right? But the example you gave was you went to some sort of protest, or you were in a rally where Trump was or something, and people hated Trump. But I don't think that's useful information that they hate him. I don't think that's factual information. Is what I mean.
Well, my point of saying he wasn't actually at the protest. It was about him visiting the UK. I think it was his first visit or something like that. But the people that might have the word expert in front of them may have been reporting it as, or trying to make it out to be, oh, you know, we really can't wait for Trump to be here, blah blah blah, and you know, and I'm saying the lived experience of me being there. It's like it's pretty clear that the people I was in, all those thousands of people that took time out to walk through London, were saying it very clearly that they didn't like Trump. He wasn't welcome, and we saw him for what he was. So there's a danger of the misinformation becoming mainstream, if you see what I mean. You know, like the like we said about things or politics, things like obviously really important things like feminism, climate change. When that misinformation becomes normal, like as in overwhelmingly standard, the experts, the ones that and can be backed up by research, those things, they can be put in the background, because the more enjoyable narrative is the one that's put out, or the more profit, or more that's more of an advantage politically for a particular group. That narrative is the one that's put out there, better for them. There's a great quote, and I think James O'Brien's used it. He may have got it from someone else, but when he's talked about lies and experts and all that, a lie gets halfway around the world before the truth has got its trousers on, which is very, very true.
Say that again. The lie gets out.
A lie gets halfway around the world before the truth has even got its trousers on, and we saw that literally during that pandemic. The lies were the ones that were becoming normal. Okay, I'll wrap up. And Trump and bad politics like that were becoming normal, and right now right-wing ideas are becoming normal, and it's very real danger when it comes with religion, because it affects women's rights. That ties in with feminism. The experts, it's like people that are not qualified are being held on the same almost level platform as actual scientists and experts, whereas the person that's unqualified shouldn't be on that same platform. By all means, share an opinion, but they can't really say, you know, fact, or they're an expert, or not. And I'll kind of wrap up there, I think, because I don't want to abuse my time.
Thank you very much. I think there's great confusion here in Wolf and Khalid that Trump can do and say anything he wants. There's a whole legal body surrounding democracy and positions of power, and that legal body clearly defines you just can't do and say what you want, even though you're elected the world leader. That is absolutely not true, which is why he's been prosecuted at the moment for trying to start an insurrection in America, and still trying to do that insurrection in the moment. There's a legal body, House of the name escapes me, but Bill Barr was the head of it, and he was great mates with Trump. And even Bill Barr said his freedom of speech are now so extreme that we must put legal processes into positions to execute a trial and potentially a guilty verdict when all the evidence has been submitted, and evidence points to unquavable proof of the his free speech was utterly insane. This idea, I mean, it's such a because we come from such a bad education. Everyone walks around thinking free speech is whatever you want. You can say the N word. You can just say hate gay people because in your head you were educated by your Abrahamic leaders to hate gay people and abuse them and deny them the very platform that we are talking here, our representative of the Abrahamic religions. You are literally the person that decides who gets that platform. But that's because you believe in dictatorships. The very idea that you could be on this video promoting free speech and community happiness when you clearly, constantly promote the concept that the only person that should have a voice, the only person that should be allowed to speak, are those that are qualified. You literally promote that each and every time, and you do that through your the one that's being qualified, a religious leader, for example. Your religious leader is the one that should speak, and he's the dictatorship of who Khaled, who our Abrahamic representative will be liking, silencing, and denying that very platform which we're talking about. The people that suppress free speech and censorship are those clearly from the Abrahamic religions. They've constantly done that, abused the concept of free speech. Free for them, what they only mean by free speech for them, and a platform and an unqualified position to speak and become politically powerful, is to allow hatred and repressions over groups, banning their books, burning their books. This is a platform that they constantly, repeatedly, for centuries and centuries, have constantly burned down this platform. And they then elect their political representative, their religious leader, who they qualify as the only ones who are allowed to speak on any subject whatsoever. This has been thousands of years of repeated, constant abuse, and just constantly, when everyone starts questioning them, they go, "Oh yeah, it's free speech. Oh yeah, I'm allowed to just have free speech," and the next moment, execute the orders to burn everyone else's platforms, which is exactly what one of the recent leaders, the Abrahamic, did, which is Hitler. He did exactly that, exactly what our representative of the Abrahamic religion here is promoting. It's unequivocal their both desire to repress and claim themselves as the honest actors in this relationship. The people of God's children can never do any flaw, can never do any wrong. And when they burn protests, when they burn platforms down, it's all done in God's name, and therefore there is no shame whatsoever in that. And we're only doing it because we're the psychopaths and we are the stoic ones, and that's just, we're doing something that's hard, but it's God's work. I got 5 minutes, but I'm just running a little bit over. And protests is just another example of how great, how people who are not elected to positions of qualifications, it's a great example of protest that. But unfortunately, you do end up with your secret services end up overtaking a lot of protests, which is an absolute foul, gross, disgusting act when it comes, as long as they're peaceful, and long as they are respectful and sincere. Sincerity is everything. Being an oil protester is sincere because science backs them up. Being an anti-oil protester, anti-oil protester, like those people trying to stop the oil, just stop oil cause, they're insincere, and that is unequivocal. Okay, thank you. Khaled, I believe it's you.
Yeah, okay. I just feel like it might be good to share my screen anyway, as I've been making notes. Maybe easy for people to follow. I mean, categorizing it by what Martin said and Dust said. Let's make it bigger. Okay. So anyway, I might have spelt this wrong. James O'Brien, I'm sure it's got a little, oh, there we go, something like that. Lie gets halfway around the world before the truth gets its trousers on. I like that. It's sure there's plenty of truth behind it. That's the thing the Quran says. Don't follow the majority. So that supports that argument that yeah, the lies do get around very easily, and it's the majority that follows the lies because they follow conjecture, as the Quran says, conjecture, things that they guesswork, not fact-based. Religion affects women's rights. That's kind of a different topic, but no, religion protects women's rights because it stops women competing
No, it
against
doesn't.
men and forcing them to be like women, forcing them to be like men.
What do you think? What do you
It's
think a
not
woman's
helpful.
right is, Khalid? What do you think a woman's right is when they say no?
Well,
What do you think? Can you define what a woman's right is?
well, let's say the right to property, which Islam gave well over 1,000, about 1,300 years before England did. So yeah, women's rights.
Are
Women's
they
rights
right?
to.
Do they have a
Yeah,
right
go
to
on.
control their body? Do they have a right to have political power?
Yeah, they
Do they
do.
have do they have a right
So-
to? But you do they have a right to not be raped in a marriage, even though not to say no in a marriage, when to say no to sex when they're in marriage. Do they have a right to end?
Okay, couple of interesting quick points. So for example, have they got a right not to be raped when
In
they
a
say
marriage.
no to sex in a marriage? So there are different kinds of marriages. People agree on different things before they get into a marriage, but they can always change their mind. But in Islam, sex is considered a duty, and we can see in all these relationships where they don't consider it as duty, you have lots of sexless marriages. So you can choose your own rules, but you can choose the rules that work or choose the rules that don't work, and we can see the rules that don't work. So, and by the way, I always say that all the atheists out there in England who really don't want to follow Islam, you could do that, but you're essentially voting yourself out of existence because your rules don't work. You're in sexless marriages, etc., or no marriages, no relationships at all, and it's a matter of time where your ideas will die out with you. And Muslims, on the other hand, are just growing in numbers because their ideas continue to work, their families continue to grow. And women are most people who convert to Islam are women, by the way. So Western women, by the way. Anyway, protesters. So yeah, protesters hating on Trump don't depend on third-party info such as mainstream. So basically, I agree that we should not just depend on third-party information such as mainstream media or even social media, because that could be controlled. Well, it is controlled in many ways. YouTube is controlled. So I agree with that. I didn't manage to write a response to that, but that was my answer to that. Can a man, this is the thing I missed out. So can a man talk about women's rights, which is the initial idea that Summer came up with? So yeah, we should listen to women as well, but can a man operate on a woman? If you're an expert in a particular field and there isn't a woman available, he's the expert. Is a woman going to listen to a man? So that argument doesn't hold perfectly that only women can talk about women's rights and things like that. So be careful about that. But we should have a balanced approach. We should listen to women, for example. Listen to their lived experiences, Martin says. Dust says Trump should have been silenced. Okay, let's start with this bit actually. Laws to stop free speech. So there are some laws which are specific about incitement, physically harming other people, but it does not. No, it doesn't. But basically, you can't. It doesn't stop you from so-called lies. It doesn't stop from. Sorry. so-called lies. So anybody can go, something is a lie. Who knows? Well, we'll have to check that with the facts, I suppose. Religious leaders are experts who censor. No, Islam teaches no compulsion in religion. So they have some authority, but you choose to follow that authority or not. So,
Choose. In a dictatorship,
so if you have voted, I mean, that's now you're conflating different things. There's religious
I'm not.
leaders, and so you might say the Ayatollah is a religious dictator. First of all, I don't follow the Ayatollah. Many people who don't follow him just leave the country as well. But people, as far as I understand, elected him. So you follow the leaders that you elect. Yeah.
Wait.
Martin,
Comment on that last line there. So
you've got 5 minutes.
Islam teaches no compulsion in religion, so you're not compelled to follow it. But you did earlier say that if we're not religious, i.e., atheists, then we're completely wrong. Everything we say is wrong. Everything we think is wrong, and that only
I didn't
you.
say that. That's a bit general.
It's kind of.
I didn't really say that.
I think
But
it's-
yeah, I'm saying statistically, the results are showing that your ideas don't work because that's why white people, atheist people, especially, are dying out. Yeah.
Okay, I don't. They're certainly not dying out. It could be the other way around. Okay, fair enough. You did answer. I did ask. You did answer. So is this my little 5 minutes? Yeah.
Yes, 5 minutes.
So when it comes to sort of women's rights, and this, I think this is where some of what was sort of talked about, because we often talk about things to do with feminism and way women are portrayed in books, media, etc. Again, to sort of kind of say what I said before, I can't live a day in her life. I don't know what it's like to be a woman walking home late at night, because I have a different experience walking home late at night. But I can listen to what someone told me, what she has to do sometimes walking home, the dangers, the fears that she sees, and where she feels unsafe. I don't feel unsafe in the same way, but I didn't realise how many dangers there actually are for a woman walking home until she told me about them, and then her mum told me about them.
I agree with so much of what you're saying, but can I ask you a question, which is, do you believe that only women can talk about women's rights or women's issues, or what's it called? Be an expert on a women's issue, such as be their doctor, for example.
So when obviously when we're coming to medicine and science, we're talking about the human body. So doesn't matter whether it's necessarily a male or female doctor that sees you in the hospital, because they've taken the time to understand the science and it still applies. There may be things where a woman feels more comfortable talking to a female medical expert because it may be something just and obviously that's absolutely fine. You'd feel more comfortable doing that, and that's fine. But obviously a doctor is a doctor, and if they can help, they can help. It's all good. But I think obviously when it comes to abortion rights, things like that, women have the only opinion on that, and that's obviously they're affected directly, obviously. So we obviously we're three men sitting here. We can't dictate those things, but we do have a job to listen to what other people are living through, how they feel they are being treated, and we have to go. Then we need to rethink about how we those people, whether it's women or people of different color, or all those other kind of things that get affected. In a film like the Barbie movie recently came out, that exposed a lot of people. I went, and I had more to learn from that, and I already considered myself pretty well, but the more I learned about how other people and the world that they live in and how they've been treated is better, because it means I can treat other people better. So when it comes to women's rights, they should have a bigger voice, stronger voice, and they are very much the experts in this because it's women that are affected in this, and it's up to us to bring the balance far more in line because it's far more of a man's world at the moment than it is a woman's
And
world.
just to add to your statement that in the Abrahamic religions, honor killings are absolutely normalized in those societies. And that's when a woman speaks out against her husband, speaks out against the community. Woman has a view which is opposing the community. The honor killing system comes into operation, which is a utter misery and repression of that platform. It comes back down to the thing is that it's only the qualified that are allowed to speak, and women are not qualified to allowed to speak. So this is what the talk's about, and this is an example of what qualification is. Women are not qualified to speak out against their communities. Sorry, carry on.
Yes.
By the way, we're done with the hour. Maybe we want to, after his one, we'll do a 1 hour, 1 minute thing or something, round up.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I was just sort of wrapping it up a little bit.
Yeah.
So obviously, like I said, when it comes to religion, then that's a major issue there, where women's rights are practically eradicated, but still sort of pretend as though it's a strange relationship that religions have with the word love and hate. It's one thing they promote and one thing they pretend to be. And another big subject is sort of things to do with mental health. I learn so much about mental health because I don't live through them, have to deal with the mental health system, the NHS system there. But the more I learn from what Summer teaches me, what to do with mental health, and
30 seconds.
More about how some things affect her. So yeah, I learn a lot more about mental health by the lived experience of another person, and balance that with some of the experts and what they would say about the science behind why people have certain issues and how it affects them. Okay, cool. I'll wrap up there. Yeah, someone else speak.
All right.
Cool,
Thank you,
thank you.
Khaled. You are correct. I think we should do the 1 minute thing. That means Martin will have the last 1 minute, and we'll start right now. So I think the best statement has been said here on this is Khaled says there's always been death en masse. I mean, nothing sums up the callousness of the child of Abraham with that statement. And that, of course, mostly kills off people that are poor, mostly kills off people without a platform, mostly kills people who are not qualified to stand up and say, actually, this mass death situation, which keeps arising in these Abrahamic constructs, is absolutely gross and unacceptable, and they can be stopped. But that's why you are not allowed a voice. That's why you're not qualified, because you disagree with the Abrahamic child's narrative, which is just turn a blind eye and we'll get through all this because we've got God on our side. Khaled,
Cool. So my
1 minute, please. 1 minute, please.
Yep, correct. So I'll start off with what Ulrich is saying on the bottom. It's a cultural thing, definitely not part of a religious thing. I've said many times there's no compulsion in religion, which means you can't be compelled to do anything in particular, any particular religion. And we've seen the opposite in all of the time. Anyway, I don't want to just talk about that. So are experts the only people who are allowed to talk? In reality, as an entrepreneur, it's usually people who are outside what is deemed as expert, people who create all the great new things. They're on the fringes. Like Einstein was on the fringe. He was rejected even after he gave his 4 fantastic papers, gave him the Nobel Prize. He was rejected by an expert, another Nobel Prize winner. So you have to be careful about that. I think the simple answer is the truth destroys falsehood. So just listen to wherever the truth, wherever it comes from, and you'll see it will work against any falsehood. Simple.
Thank you. Very good. Okay, Martin, you got your minute. Let's go.
Okay, so experts are the people we go to, and whenever I Talking Speakers Corner, I'd always start with I'm by no means an expert on anything, but all I can give you is how I see the world, and hopefully people take something away from that. When we hear a statement from an expert or something that comes very clear, you're not compelled to just take it and go, that's the fact, and off I go. But you apply your own reason, your own rationality to it, your own logical thinking, use your own brain, and to sort of think about it, compare it, research it with different things. Anything I say, anything we say here, go away, research it, and that's always really important. But experts generally are the science is there and the facts are there and the evidence is there, then that's a good reason to follow it. There you go.
Thank you. That was wonderful. The facts are always the truth. Okay, I think we've concluded there, and we should all say a little goodbyes. And thank you to the audience for contributing. And sorry, we run out over time a little bit. We will work on our time behaviour a little bit more and make sure that we answer questions as well that come up in our feed line as well. I think that would be an honourable thing to do if time permitting. And so we'll do that for next time.
Cool. Just to say, go on. You say it, and then I'll just tell you what the next stream is so they can join us.
My name is Dust. Thank you for listening, everyone. Thank you, Khalid. And the dust is now settled.
Cool. Not Dust. Martin, do you want to, I don't know, chime out?
Thank you again for listening and commenting, and hopefully you come over to the next stream for the next question.
Cool. Yeah, thank you both of you being here. We're going to jump on the next stream now, which I've given the link to in the live chat, and it's about, is the Pope now a climate alarmist? So very important topic, the environment. All right, see you there. Bye.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Bye.